Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Headspace Podcast. It's your boy, HSR.
It's your boy, Chris Chrome.
This is the show where we talk about brand new albums, and boy, are we in for a treat today. But before we get into that, and as always in the description of this video, you can see when it actually starts. We're going to talk first a little bit about our favorite comment on last week's video. And what album did we talk about last week, Chris?
Russ
Zoo. If y'all like that, check out that review. But we got this comment. And this comment comes from one of the most persistent folk we have encountered on this channel, Fabio Oliveira. I believe he's from Portugal. Comments do teach you things about people. And he goes, "Hey guys, Honey Cocaine already dropped her new mini album. You guys should listen to it and do a review. It's a new project, so it's possible, right? Search for Honey C Wildfire on streaming platforms." So I did, and I listened to the album. And my quick thoughts are, Honey C is pretty standard in a style of music I'm not 100% into. None of the songs sounded bad to me. None of the songs sounded great to me. But if you guys want us to do Honey Cocaine, put it down in the comments, and you can show Fabio that he has some support. We can do that album. In the meantime, I just wanted to give my quick little review to you to tell you that I actually listened to the project, and unless we actually get a lot of support for that idea, I don't know that we will do Honey C, because it's not really my cup of tea. But before we get into something I really did enjoy this week, actually, why don't we just thank our patrons, Ismail G, Linda Williams, and Super School 1994. And they're awesome. They support us. We'll talk a bit about that at the end. But now let's talk about some exciting shit, the shit that y'all came here for, keeping in mind that we're a little bit amateur, not necessarily professional enough to know everything. So, Chris, tell the people who we are here for tonight.
Well, for this week's Headspace album review, we went with Noname, Room 25.
Holy shit, did I not have any idea who Noname was? Like, seriously, no idea, none.
Once her last album, It Is a Girl, her last album, I've seen that album cover before. I've actually heard of her in one of the hip-hop YouTube channels brought up once.
I mean, I'm certain that's possible that her name has appeared in, like, list of shit I missed or whatever, but I didn't know anything about her. I know she's from Chicago. I now know she's fucked with Chance the Rapper on a single, and she's, like, legit, as Mr. JLB put it. And I had no idea what to expect, right? So I saw this came out, and I hit play. And from, like, literally 30 seconds into, like, her first verse or whatever, I was done. I knew we had to talk about this. Spoiler alert, this is an incredible project in my eyes. I think this is one of the most refreshing sounds I have heard all year. Like, I'm going to come up with, like, a weird, abstract way of putting it, but, like, I suppose I saw criticism from a YouTuber about female rappers, where often it feels like what the female rappers are trying to do is just female versions of what the males are already doing. And you don't necessarily get a lot of ladies trying to write and produce hip-hop that is honestly just feminine in nature. Like, it is made by ladies, almost for ladies. It's woman-based shit, right? And let's be real, from a gender-normative perspective, hip-hop is predominantly a male-driven thing. So the themes, the topics, the way of expression is super, like, masculine. And this might be one of the first projects I've ever heard where it just feels so, like, I am woman. Like, it's just taking it with a grain of salt, like, this is really awesome. Like, it's so, like, I feel like I'm more conscious having heard this project, you know, for, like, the perspectives it gives and, like, the way she approaches the sound and stuff, that it's not trying to be what's poppin' per se. It's trying to create an iconic sound in and of itself. And that's how I wanted to start this off for y'all, so you could understand. Just, like, I was a bit blown away by it. I mean, I don't know about you, how you felt.
I love what we're about to break down and discuss. Honestly,
it's pretty good.
We're gonna get into it. It's really just it. There's, like, we'll just start with the album cover, because that's the first thing. Like, you see confusion. You see there's so much things happening. You got, like, a face. You got a body going there. It looks like a legitimate professional painting.
it looks like super abstract, right? Where you have like inside of like the main thing that is her, you have like a car and a window into a house, and it's almost like this is her both. It's almost like a representation of her life played out in all these little scenes extending off of her core, where you get the sense that this project is going to be deeply personal in regards to who she is and what she cares about and things like that. But like, also you get like a sense that it's not going to be regular, and it's going to be really like her. It makes you, it kind of comes off different than a lot of stuff, but it's also something I would print out and put on a fucking wall. Like, it's really cool to look at. It is a brilliant fucking design. Kudos to whoever designed that. And the way the colors are used so sparingly across this is and the colors that are used, like the pink person on her leg or the bluish person at the top on the left, like, it's just interesting. I don't know, it makes me actually want to look at the album cover for once.
It doesn't make it's like it's not heavy,
right?
It's very smooth and connected properly, and the way that like the colors kind of pop out at you, it's like the two people Holden was talking about, the pink person and the turquoise person, it's like they're separated properly in order to make you focus on more what's in between them instead of just them themselves. But you can catch, like, it's kind of like barriers in a way, like the way that the colors are put, they kind of bury. And
like there's an ass crack, so you know it's gonna be like raw, right? Like, it's not really a censored idea, you know. I don't know if that was an intentional thing, but it's something I noticed. It's cool. I honestly would consider buying a poster of this. I would. I don't know if I'm allowed to put it up. If you all live with somebody, you know what I mean. Yeah, it's super fucking deep, man. I didn't even catch that.
It was a noose.
I'm like, I think there's like a mic on a stage on top of a building there. Like, it's got a lot going on. Let me know what y'all think. Holy shit, is that the little picture? Anyway, there's lots of cool stuff happening on this cover. I would highly recommend taking a quick second to look at it. But then I feel like it puts you in a kind of intrigued place so that we can talk about herself.
Before the heathen, no reason for you to like me. Maybe this your wife, he just wanted a clean divorce.
All right, Christopher, as he takes some dihydrogen monoxide, what do you think of this opening track?
I wasn't expecting anything that we got. The sound that was coming, that was being produced right away, was completely different than, I'm not going to say what I've heard before, but what I generally listen to, and it was soft. It was, in a way, happy. It like this happy vibe, and very low drums, very low, very mellow type feel. And Noname comes in and just really gives you this type of slam poetry rap. Yeah. Like, nothing really, I'm not criticizing her skill, but to me, nothing really solidly fits, but it fits with like the off timing and the way she uses the rhymes. Like, it's controlled. It's, oh my God. I like how she starts off in verse 1. She goes, maybe this is the album you listen to in your car when you're driving home late at night, really questioning every god, religion, Kanye, bitches. Maybe this is the entrance before you get to the river.
Fuck, man. And what a start.
Go on.
I mean, like, it's the beginning of the album, so it's going to be like the very first like thing that you're going to hear on it, right? And she's aware of that, so she starts off questioning, almost, but kind of like we are, what is the purpose of this album? So she's almost questioning for you. And sometimes I like to like have conversations with myself where I anticipate what the other person is going to say, and I'll do it in front of their face, and it pisses them off. I'm like, but it kind of felt like that. Like, she's just kind of guessing like what kind of a mind frame you're going to be in when you hear this. But it's done in like this poetic, interesting way. Like, you could be into God, religion, Kanye, bitches, like, you know, pop culture, serious shit, shallow shit.
But I like how she put Kanye after God and religion, because like Jesus, right?
Oh shit!
But not even like as an attack, not even an attack.
No, just
more like
placed.
How we as people look at icons like Kanye, look at rappers, look at pop stars, and we put them on this like pedestal. They're kind of like gods,
right?
Fandoms, fan bases kind of turn into religions.
And
I'm stretching. Like, I'm
no.
stretching.
I mean,
but
you're right. And then this is kind of maybe it's what's going to be the opening that gets her into the conversation. Maybe, again, I might not understand every line on this. I want to be like fully candid. I usually feel like I have a good handle on lyric interpretation. I feel like she's a better poet than my interpretative skills are. So if I fuck some shit up, I'm being candid now. This is some top level poetry that blew my fucking mind. So sorry if we fuck up. Go ahead.
Well, we were like, I just like how she started that. I like how she, and everything you said, like kind of giving us this intro to the album. I like how she's being confused with us. It kind of shows this humanity to her, this like wanting to be equal in a way. So she's not trying to separate herself. She wants to figure it out with us on the journey. So that was really cool. I like how in verse 2 she went, "Heaven's only 4 feet tall. I let my ringer to it. I set my ringer to it. Fucked your rapper homie. Now his ass is making better music. My pussy teaching 9th grade English. My pussy wrote a thesis on colonialism.
In conversation with a marginal system in love with Jesus." Whew. Because
I didn't want to write so much.
No, but like they're kind of tied together because that's what she really goes in on what a proper thesis would sound like.
Well, explain your part because what I took from it was, first she's like badass. Like she's claiming that, like, you know, she fucked your friend, and now he's making better music because she's lyrically talented. She might have like this better music knowledge, and now she's helping him or whatnot.
I took it kind of like, so I mean, I have like I'm not 100% sure, but I took this song as a way of like people's expectations of her. Right, because even if you go through the first verse and we continue there before we get into that, right? So I had him before the heathen, no reason for you to like me. Maybe this your wife, you just wanting a clean divorce. This baby ain't really yours. That's really for baby's teething. The chicken wings under season. Y'all thought a bitch really couldn't rap, huh? So she's kind of coming in, and she kind of questions your state of mind, and then maybe kind of points out some of the more dismal situations a person could be in, really attacking, like, going in almost with like a depth of like some really bad shit going on, but really dropping it in like a proper, like her flow was ridiculous. And then she stops like, yeah, you thought a bitch couldn't rap. Like, you know, you probably just assume because she's a woman, because she looks a certain way, that, you know, she isn't a rapper or she can't be. And then she's slaying it with this ridiculous poetry, this like stream one, you know, like. Anyway, you know, y'all thought maybe this your answer for that, the crack era, the Reagan administration are still scared of. Nah, actually, this for me. This one for TT at the lake serving the mac and cheese. This one, a small apology for all the calls that I screened. And it's like you get the sense then that she's bringing it in like this could be like a super political charge, like almost like a Kendrick move, like to like save everyone, like questioning what's the purpose of an album.
Did you do some looking up on her?
No.
I read a bit of the wiki page a little bit, and she was part of this like media project for young artists.
Okay.
So she's heavily in tune with, I feel like she's heavily in tune with like the community and wanting to give back and work with a lot of what's going around. So I like how she kind of empowers that idea. But
I also feel like she's trying to say that while these are all things an album can be for, the truth is this project here, this is for me. This is for me to do what I got to do, whatever, right? And so then in the second verse, I think we're again facing kind of expectations. So Mr. Moneyman, Mr. Everyday, he got me, Mr. Wifing me down, Mr. Me Love, Mr. Miyagi, Miscellaneous, Mr. Molly in my side, my Saki, incredible emptiness in my body. So I guess it's saying that when you put all this emphasis on what a man wants and all this male-driven shit or whatever, however it's properly supposed to be expressed, it's like pointing out that this is left with a sense of emptiness, a sense of like, you know, not really satisfied with how life is going on for her. And
I took it as she was kind of expressing how like there's a stereotype that men need to be like in the relationship, men need to be a certain way, like they need to provide and stuff, and she's kind of like bringing out the independence, like I can do this on my own.
But it's also more like, instead of it being so Mr. this, Mr. that, more like team type shit. Instead, she flips it and kind of says, as you point out, all of my pussy stuff. It's like, so like when she goes, my pussy wrote a thesis on colonialism in conversation with a marginal system in love with Jesus, and y'all thought a bitch couldn't rap, huh? Here it is. I take it like she's like, yeah, I'm so affected that anybody who fucks me, who dates me, right? They make better music. They become better than who they are because I'm gonna drop some shit like force you to think about these really deep, complex ideas, which allows you to have maybe a better vernacular or a better flow scheme or actually come up with better rhymes. So at the end of the day, being involved with her, being who she is, it makes others better and stronger. And it's not so machismo and shit. She's saying that like, well, fine, I am that too, you know, and the way that's how I kind of took it. And man, because that's a really good subject matter, colonialism in conversation with a marginal system of a gene. It's kind of attacking the main system. Basically, it's the patriarchy or all the other terms of it, but just worded in the way that an actual thesis statement would be worded, which I don't hear anybody dropping bars like that, bringing up such serious topics of conversations. I was enthralled by this. And then again, I bet y'all thought a bitch couldn't rap, huh? Maybe this is your answer for that good pussy. Only talk about money and good pussy. And then I think she's just kind of taking shots here at everybody else. She's like, well, this pussy is rapping about all this dope ass shit while all y'all talk about is good pussy and money, you know? And then she's kind of responding like, this is what the pussy has to say. And I fucking loved it. I mean, let's talk about the live instruments, because the band, whoever's behind her, creating this full and incredible sound. Like, you're not even... I had a problem reviewing this album. I would get so caught up in the music that I would miss out on shit she sang.
Yeah.
I would get so caught up in the flow and how she blends so seamlessly into everything. Like, she's not overpowering in the mixing. She's part of the song, as opposed to in a lot of cases where the rapper's heavy on top of it. But I think that adds to the charm. And when you go back and listen to it on your fifth, your sixth time, you're sitting there going, holy shit, I've spent like 20 minutes on this like one song, this short little song here. I'm not bored of it. I honestly am tempted to like go back and hit replay and hit this song again but I had to hear the rest of them because they're delightful. Anyway, this is a 5. I've heard very little like this, especially in the new albums, man. Like you don't hear a lot of shit like this. And I think part of my feeling is how caught off guard with how amazing this sounds, like how amazing it is. And given my knowledge of her and her position in the game and stuff, this is way better than you would be expecting. It is one of the nicest songs I've heard all year.
I gave it a 4.
That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion.
I liked it. I think it is a really good starting point to the album. I like actually a line where she went, maybe this is your wife just wanting a clean divorce.
Right.
And I felt like she really brought out different like aspects of what we might be getting through the album, different scenarios and different experiences we're gonna get. So I feel like there's a little bit of foreshadowing here. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. Yeah, I left it with a 4. It's a really good start.
It's not for Chris.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Blaxploitation as white boys.
Lady immortalized all 80s, I mean she real nasty. Get the hot sauce in her purse and she be real blacky.
On the real, the 5s just kept going at this point for me. I'm spoiler alert. How fucking amazing is this song? Like, I feel like so much of what I said on the first song about the music, the production, her skill, I feel like she outdid herself already. Like, I thought it was amazing, and then she proved to me that she's even more amazing.
Well, she's very diverse. She kind of picked up the pace. She was going a little faster on the flow and the rhyme schemes.
And the alliteration at the very beginning.
Absolutely.
Like, seriously.
Absolutely.
Penny proud, penny petty, pissing off the Betty the boop. Only that hoop traded my life for cartoon. Dance monkey, dance cathedral, gonna pay me good tonight. Eating Chick-fil-A in the shadows that tastes like hypocrite. And I like how she fucking says hypocrite wrong to hit the rhyme scheme.
I like how she made a Proud Family reference.
Okay, like what's a Proud Family?
It's a TV show called Proud Family. It's about a black family, and it's a cartoon show, and the daughter's name is Penny Proud.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that. But
and then hence the cartoon with Betty Boop.
And I mean, it starts off with a clip from a Blaxploitation movie, which, if I understand correctly, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, it's that in the 70s and 80s, these movies came out, and a lot of black folk, this was the only representation of them from, like, I guess, media. And so many stereotypes or many ways of living may have been drilled in based off of these negative things that were exploited to make money because of etc. And if you watch a lot of these, I've seen a few of them, and they're pretty heavy in the stereotypical front. And I believe that the purpose of this song is to then go through and like isolate stereotypes that she's been exposed to or had, like eating chicken in the shadows that tastes like hypocrite, yummy, yet tasty, yummy, tasty.
Do you know why that's a line?
Why?
Because she's got morals and values, like for LGBT. She supports them and all that. And Chick-fil-A had a whole big scandal where they kind of donated money to an anti-LGBTQ community.
But it's also fried chicken, so she has to eat it, and it's all delicious. And I agree with you. I think we're complementing the same idea. And I love the way
I didn't catch the fried chicken part. I was like,
isn't that what Chick-fil-A sells?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
and she's black. So
that's the whole like stereotypical connection I'm trying not to connect here.
I'm trying to state not that I believe that this stereotype is true. I believe that this lyric is referencing that stereotype and then how she kind of feels like.
I feel like it's more referencing the fact that she's enjoying it because she likes it, and that her morals are kind of against, like it's against her morals to support that.
Absolutely,
right?
That's why she specifically chose that. But it's because as a black person, you're supposed to like fried chicken based off of how the media spins it, you know?
Fair.
So you're right. I didn't actually catch that other part, but I think they're kind of that's why, like, she's good with double and triple entendres and shit. Like, she's dropping like layered poetry where you're supposed to go back and be able to find multiple meanings that are true in like the same line. You know, like, then offer my empathy, bitch is really lazy. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. Maybe I'm hypochondriac. I'm struggling to simmer down. Maybe I'm insomni black. Bad sleep triggered by bad government. Put a think piece into rap song, the New Age Covenant. And I guess here she's kind of maybe looking at how they get described in the media as lazy.
I'll be honest. I listened to this like 6-7 times, and I still just don't really comprehend the entire crux of the song.
But like,
so I'm learning as I go.
So yeah, a lot of this to me is like these are media stereotypes that she has been exposed to as what people think a black person is, and then put a think piece in a rap song, the New Age Covenant. So like this is her. Instead of blogging, instead of doing other stuff, she's taking these rap songs as a platform to describe some of these ideas. So this would have been like in 2007, like a blog article on the exact same subject matter as a think piece or something you would have seen on Medium, except that it's coming through these rap songs with her story and her perspective. And she's like delivering it with fresh dopeness. Like, to me, it's super enthralling. It's exactly where I hope hip hop ends up going in terms of actually debating bigger issues as opposed to I fucked your girlfriend.
What do you feel with like the gentrification bars?
Well, hold on. I mean, just at the end of the verse, if you really think I'm cooking crack, then pass me the oven mints. Captain, watch a little bitch. She go crunch and wonder how everything happened. And I'm like, damn, like it's kind of like, well, if this is what you expect of me, then don't be surprised if I may as well just fucking go do it. I'm guilty of the verdict because of what you think I am. But I don't know. It's fucking cool. And then you got the second little clip that happens where it's like, my people started running a long time ago and they're still fighting. Revolution was never meant to be easy. This is not your fight, black man. This is not, what is this to you? It's not a matter of color. Freedom is everybody's business. And I feel like, again, that's a bit of a commentary on maybe how the conversation surrounding Black Lives Matters and things like that, just how the racism issue is handled by most white people is like an all lives matter. It's for everyone type of approach without recognizing the issue is kind of dismissive, kind of just, again, a media point that gets pushed forward.
It's like not authentic in a sense.
Well, I think it's just kind of showing the type of conditioning and the brainwashing efforts that the media has used on black communities to tell them certain ways to live that, and I mean, this is definitely something I believe that is done, where it's almost deliberate. Like, if you just look at the idea of all the guns and liquor stores in the hood and shit, and the versus the suburbs and how it doesn't exist, or even fucking look at grocery store quality or fast food versus nice restaurants and the money, income, and areas, and it's just almost like if you're in the wrong part of town or you're the wrong whatever, is bad news bears. Anyway, I just kind of like whatever, and then the second verse is kind of like, yeah, anti-political, mythical in the picture. You just moved to Wicker. Your mommy stay on the south side. She said clean your house, power, a pine sol baby. She, the scrub tub lady. She that naked bitch in videos. That drunk club lady. Immortalize all 80s. Then she real nasty. Keep the hot sauce in her purse. Then she be real blackie. I'm not 100% sure what a lot of these specifics are in this, but it kind of feels like it's playing up more on like female stereotypes in the female-specific things.
I kind of felt like, because like that was my question with the gentrification bar. It feels like
Where's the gentrification bar?
Well, when your man moves to Wicker Park is a highly gentrified place apparently. And according to Noname, if your man moves to Wicker Park, he's losing his authenticity. He's losing his.
River Dog is the guy who annotated the genius comment. See? I don't know if you can see, but I was just showing you. To live in a highly gentrified and hipster bitch neighborhood.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was giving credit to the right person.
Oh.
Name didn't annotate that comment.
But I'm explaining, like, in the verse, Name seems to be breaking down that if your man moves to like a gentrified area like that, he's kind of leaving like the hood, the area, the circumstance. He's losing his roots. He's gonna change. He's no longer gonna remember you to be like whatever you are. Like, he'll start changing. That's it.
And then, I guess if all you have is that media perception of what's supposed to be, you're going to lose touch with your roots. So keep that hot sauce in her purse. She'd be real blacky, just like a Hillary Clinton who masqueraded the system, I guess because she blackfaced and on top of that played the system and did illegal shit. Who chicken bone, watermelon, edge, traded hoodie for hipster, infatuated the menstrual. When we cool, they cool. We die, it's coon. We superfly, indignous, now hop to the moon. Who brought the movie to America is still coming soon. I don't know, man. It's like, again, it just kind of ends out following up what you're saying. It makes a lot more sense with kind of criticizing how the branded message of what it means to be black and how it's perceived based on the culture and versus the actual roots of the neighborhood, and then kind of, I guess, commenting on if you leave where you're coming from and then all you have is this like media perception of what's going on. It almost taints the essence of what being, I guess, black is, which is not something I feel super qualified to talk about, but in terms of just responding to what's been said there. Yeah, I don't know. I really dug it. This is another 5 for me. I think it's really deep. It's given me a lot to think about, and it's super cool, and I like that. I like the fact that it almost really did trigger me, not trigger in like a negative sense, but triggered that part of me that wants to learn more and go Google shit and inspire me almost. It's really cool.
I'll give it a 4.5.
Yeah, beat's amazing. Fun times. Ends on another quote.
I like how she's already giving us like a different flow, a different type of flair. She's showing that she can change it up at any time that she wants. Like she had that slow slam poetry. Now we got more of that like rapidy, quick side to it, more of that syllable play. And it really just kind of shows like when you really work on your craft, you can really make these different things.
That's true. Anyway, let's move on to the prayer song.
Titty said, go find your doctor, you could get Kimmy. So how we used to love you.
I mean, it starts off with this little musical introduction thing for like a good minute or whatever, and it's beautiful. It's just fucking, like, you get ensnared in, like, the overall groove that they're able to create.
Yeah.
Really soft, really mellow. Like, there's not this huge aggressive edge to it. It's just, but it doesn't change the intensity. I feel like the intensity matches what I guess a lot of people would get out of aggression, but it's just another manifestation of passion that I'm not used to, but it's still so cool. How do you feel about this one, Chris?
I like this one. I think that there's many things that was talked about. The first verse, I feel there's this sense of kind of materialism in the world. How like there's a line where it's like people are kind of like dying, and then like people are like losing their iPhones. So instead of like being,
it says, don't nobody got no holy, everybody got an iPhone. If you want to help me, then kiss me and fuck me. Good tonight, Englewood tonight.
Right. It's like I feel like she's kind of breaking down this whole, if you have like a certain thing, you can get away with other things.
I mean, I felt that was a little more like people, instead of having spirituality or like a soul, they compromise it for an iPhone and the immediate gratification of that kind of exposure.
And then like the fuck me good tonight, I feel like is like the corporate and the companies that are like, or like maybe like the government that's like fucking the system or like fucking the civilians because they're buying into this.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm on board with that.
Right. That's kind of what I understood from the first verse. The chorus, I like Adam Ness, if I'm not mistaken, right? I like Adam Ness. He does a very good job on the chorus. It has this catchy feel to it. I like the effects that were done. I feel like he's kind of like questioning America's freedom. Is it really like the land of the free, or are people still kind of feeling trapped? That's kind of what I got from that. But in verse 2, there's like she's breaking down. I feel like she takes on a perspective of a cop.
Yeah, I think it's a commentary on I think it's Philando Castile.
And that's the guy that's the cop who killed the guy in the car, right?
Yeah, well, he was the one who was killed and was driving his car with his girlfriend, and his 4-year-old daughter was in the back seat when he was pulled over by Officer Germonio Yanes, and it escalated. We told them that he had the firearm, he was doing everything cool, and dude just shot him and shit.
But I feel like she takes the perspective of the cop, because she has a line like, why, oh, why my dick getting bigger? This violence turning me on. My mama finally see my baby on channel 2. She love me better when I be keeping the streets clean.
I agree.
And it's like I like how she kind of gives that other side. She gives that other perspective, kind of trying to maybe relate or see like what they have to go through.
I think it's more satirical than that. She's criticizing it through the perception of it, like asking that particular question, like why does my dick get bigger when I see the violence and shit. It's a little bit more like he's probably not really asking that question to himself, right? So she's kind of asking, like, why do you have to be like that? But kind of commenting through the whole perspective, like, demons behind your back will call you crack bitch. Set my cell phone on the dash. Could have sworn it's a gun. I ain't seen a toddler in the back after firing 7 shots. Like, you know, she's kind of describing from his point of view, but saying a bunch of blatantly obvious shit to point out how like absolutely ridiculous everything is. I love the America the Great, It's Grateful Dead in life for me, because the Grateful Dead cultivated this super fucking loyal following that would like follow them everywhere on tour, the Deadheads and shit, right? Even like Jay-Z compared himself, raps Grateful Dead on Encore, you know, like that's how significant they are in terms of cult-like status. And I love how it's just placed, like that obsession is laced right next to America the Great. And I think that the chorus is a little bit looking at how the idea of what freedom is actually more like apple pie on Sunday morning, but obesity and heart disease. So it looks real sweet and nice, but really there's consequences to this, you know? Approach with caution, hallelujah. I was lost thinking I was truly free. Darkness lingers in the wake of slavery. Hold me close, don't let me fall into deep. The lost have risen, a new religion. It's kind of got this sense that everything is preached in a certain way, following maybe on the last track in the way the media is misrepresenting everything. And following up that in you're told you're free your whole life, etc., and discovering the limitations of what that freedom is, or the strings that are attached to it. And it's just really, like, again, thought-provoking and super interesting. It reminds me of an essay in like rap hip-hop form, and it's just so interesting to me.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't have a lot more to add. You kind of really hit up on the major points. I just love the way she rhymes. Like, if you want to help me, then kiss me and fuck me later. Gentrify my people. There's heaviness on my table. If you want to help me, to put me inside the cusp, put the cigarette in my back, keep the hospitals overrun, run. It's just like, again, criticizing parts
the way that, like...
But, like, almost every line is, like, taking shots, and it's not at rappers or at hip-hop. It's not at, like, stuff that you hear about all the time. It's more like Most Def in the sense that it's about some real substance. Like, I feel like anyone can really, like, get behind a core message. I mean, if you believe in that side of the fence, but you can really, like, get behind what she's trying to say with a lot of this. And she's doing it so eloquently, and her bars are ridiculous. It's just the subject matter shifted into some profound stuff over this beat that's so different, and she has this nonchalance to this confidence in her voice that she doesn't have to be aggressive to lay down. It's almost like she's more of a smart aleck and like a snarkiness to the way she's approaching it. I love it. I feel like it's so snide, it's so good, it's so well delivered. This is another 5 for me. These might be one of the best experiences I've had starting an album all year, for real.
It landed at a 4 for me.
That's okay. The window's blocked up and it's fucking hot in here.
His mama's cousins, uncles, everyone missing somebody. Dancing daylight.
All right, Christopher. Please let us know how you felt while you were looking out the window.
Like I had to find myself.
Okay.
This is an amazing song. I like the consistency in the vibe, the type of the sonically the music is just still has this edge to it, but this it's like soft, smooth, melodic feel, and it brings you to like this other, I would say, other world in a sense.
Yep, I agree with that.
I feel like Noname is breaking down how she feels towards a relationship she may have had. I think that she's kind of dealing with being purely alone. She doesn't really know how to handle it. Maybe. I like at one point she goes, here with him a little ways from now, empty. Everything we ever was empty. Empty fucking, empty cussing. I know I'm your bitch, but you're my bitch too. And it's like, since day one, you can like, I feel like Noname is expressing since day one, this isn't really a committed thing. This relationship wasn't really an actual based on love. This was based on possibly lust. I feel like she's giving us this like, and when she goes, I'm your bitch, it's like maybe she's playing on the fact that guys are saying like, this is my bitch, like this is what we do, nah. But at the same time, I feel like she's defining like, you're coming to me, so you're also my bitch. Like, you want to be with me, you want to be here, you want to be doing this as well.
I mean, I feel like it's also more like I see you at the same level of whatever that you see me. This you can try to make it like a degradation thing, but at the end of the day, it's not like I think you're out of hot shit. I think you're just in a piece of meat as much as you think I am. I'm like, Absolutely. She's almost taking pride in that. Anyway,
fair enough. In verse, and then in the second verse, we kind of have Noname. I feel like letting us know that she's aware of what the situation is more in depth. She was like, bought you Game 5 tickets, made my pussy the sequel, kind of like wanting to make him happy, but knew that he didn't really love her.
I feel like I think it's playing two sides of like this fuck friend thing, right? I feel like it's like on the one hand, she has the first verse where it's like super almost like, I'm just like...
But I feel like the first verse is the fuck friend part.
Well, no, I think it's the same story. It's just two perspectives on it. So the first verse is like when she's kind of bragging and like throwing it down, like, oh, you think this is a certain thing. You think it's just this, but instead, it's like this. And, oh, you're going to play me like that. It makes me want to go fuck that guy. Just like how casual it is. But on the other hand, she flips the perspective where it's more like... I knew you never loved me, but I fucked you anyway. I guess right. A bitch like to gamble. I guess a bitch like to lonely. Who, no, not me. God had told me, or I'm really feeling like I made this. Anyway, you get the sense that she's kind of understanding the consequences of the situation. So as much as she's freely entering the situation and she's taking the same kind of risk, etc., she also knows that because of her lifestyle, there are certain gambles and risks and consequences. Like you might end up lonely at the end of the night,
But with one of her bars in the second verse, you want a nasty bitch psychiatrist that cook like your mama, and all you got was me. But I love you, even though we are not meant to be. I still love you. So right. I feel like she actually caught feelings.
But that's what happens in your fuck friend situation. No matter what, a fuck friend situation ends with somebody catches feelings. It goes all good until feelings get in the way. And yeah, there are moments where y'all are mature enough to get over your feelings and move on. And I feel like in a sense she has, but it's like a retrospective, like kind of looking back. And on the one hand, how disregarded he was about the situation made her feel a certain way about it. Mm-hmm. And then on the other hand, understanding that there's this loneliness and this like the gamble maybe didn't pay off, but she let him have it and she loves it. Like I like the fact that she's so open. Like I just like she likes sex. Like she's okay with that. Like she's just proud. Like women are down for that shit too. But then also expressing maybe some of the fragility that comes with the situation. But let's be real. As much as all these dudes are out there playing like they fuck around shamelessly and it's all good, they're usually blitzed on fucking drugs and have no emotions. And when they all sober up, none of them really look. People will describe it as fun, but most of them don't look back with like this super fondness, like it was fulfilling. Mm-hmm. They end up stopping because it stops being fulfilling, and you end up, and so you're just seeing one side of it there. And I think what I love about this is how she's spitting both sides of it, and it adds this high level of realism to it.
Yeah.
And then I like how the dude who's singing on the chorus, or girl, I think it's a dude, Phoelix, like it's like, quit looking out the windows, go find yourself, come get the bag with your kinfolk, don't doubt your wealth. And I feel like, in a sense, it's talking about, like, your value as a person and your relationships with other people.
I took it literally. Like I can actually like picture her kind of being there looking at the dude as he's like kind of whatever they may have smashed or not, and he's kind of like reminiscing about it now. Like he's like, all right, we did this, that's cool, but now he's like out the window contemplating like what's my next move,
Instead
what am I doing with my life.
Okay.
Right.
And then maybe also flipped at herself and like, what are you doing? Contemplating all this shit when you could be out there doing it. It's really cool. I like it. It's a 4.75 for me.
I gave it a 4.2.
I think it's a little bit less interesting to me from a music perspective. Not less good, less interesting, where I can't call it like I like it as much as the other ones. But I think it's as well made as the other ones. And I think it really is beautiful to listen to. Whatever. 4.75 is nearly fucking perfect.
I just hope you don't forget about me.
I will.
I pray my granny don't forget about me. I know
All right, Chris.
No, you take this. I got a drink.
Okay. I think this one talks about like death, both literally and in the sense of like a personality or a type of person. Give me 1 second here. I find... So I like your family looking like prison, your mama at the table crying, all her hair gone, feeling fishy, finding chemo. And so that's maybe like a cancer line on how like, you know, you lost your hair, but also a weed line because when you deal with cancer, you smoke chemo to deal with chemo. Anyway, smoking seaweed for calm, these Disney movies too close. He titled Emo, Noname, thank you for your sweet telephone. It saves lives. So like her music, her last album's Telephone, it was really great. It was very helpful. And maybe she get a sense of like, people are using her like a drug and shit, and she's a little bit like, oh shit, you know, it's a little bit weird, but she's kind of, I don't know. Like, again, I don't fully get these songs. I'm doing my best to interpret.
I kind of took it as like also talking about maybe drug abuse and how the system kind of works with drugs and how they look at patients who use drugs and consume alcohols. Because tell them Noname still don't got no money. Tell them Noname almost passed out drinking. Secret is she really thinks it saves lives. But
I think that's like kind of like where she's at as a person in her life against like the perception of her impact in the world.
Right. But for a second, think of Noname as literally just unknown. Don't even think of her like when she literally writes, tell them Noname still don't got no money. Noname could be anybody.
I agree.
So I'm thinking of maybe random person still don't got no money. Random person is almost passing out drinking because this random person still thinks it's whatever they're doing, consuming is saving lives.
But I think it's more chasing these dreams or whatever your impact is.
Yeah,
like
that too.
I mean, you might be about drug use.
Well, because at one point in verse 2, there's a line that goes, "My doctor really loves me."
But that's a lot more to me, okay, the verse 2 is a little more about, like, that was like a plastic surgery line, you know?
Well, I mean...
My body's fragile. I know it's made from...
But I feel like my body's fragile is because people are taking drugs and it's a temple. You know, like your body's a temple. Be careful what you put in it.
That was the chorus. But nah, because she's like, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Change my city. Titties $13K. The pretty cost these days. My doctor really loved me. I'm only half awake. I mean, maybe it's about pills, but it's also like a plastic surgeon. And maybe, I feel like because in the first verse, she's describing where she's at in the game a little bit, the perception of what she's trying to do with this pure music, etc., etc. And then in verse 2, it kind of flips into like this contrast where she's describing the cost of fame. You have to go and get fake tits. You have to look like this. You have to live this certain lifestyle and, you know, that kind of a thing. So I don't think you're actually wrong about drugs being part of it, but I think it's part of like a bigger narrative, you know? So welcome to Beverly Hills. Welcome to Vicodin. I took the pills. Now it's like, well, you're in this rich world.
I think they save lives. Right after I took the pills, I think they save lives.
So maybe that's true, or maybe I see what you're saying. I actually can see where you're coming from.
that concept of like using drugs to escape.
But it's also like having drugs be like associated with part of what's needed to be done to succeed, or whatever.
I mean, because if you want to take the doctor line, right, and then like I'm only half awake, I come to the if I'm only half awake, and then I come from my funeral, my ugly passed away.
Yeah, but like think about the next line, Beverly Hills. It's a combination of things. You go there, you get a bunch of plastic surgery, you end up getting addicted to painkillers, you live this fake shallow life, all in the pursuit, but all in the pursuit of success and fame.
Exactly.
So instead of being somebody who's passing out drunk because you have no money and you're unhappy with your life, you're conked up, fake, and full of pills because you end up being unhappy in your life, compromising your integrity to kind of get at that fame, right?
Yep.
So I feel like, yeah, that's kind of what the song is approaching, that level of like subject matter, and it's super interesting, it's super layered and like well done, and it is kind of spun in a way where it could be about, I think, multiple things at once, and I think that's what makes her kind of brilliant with her poetry.
I do want to just touch up on the chorus in terms of how they kind of repeat, like, don't forget me, don't forget me. It's like you get this sense, like, you know, the fear of death and the fear of when I leave, please remember me.
But I also kind of like went even further when I change, right? Because look at some of these celebrities.
Oh, that's
right?
deep. That's deep, dude.
So when I like get my plastic surgery and I'm now living in my mansion and I never even talk about you or whatever.
You way before.
And
Go on.
But like, don't forget about who I was, the person I used to be, the person who's died.
I got you, buddy.
I don't know why you got me. That's really.
You're like, don't forget who I was, and I won't, Holden.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, she's kind of playing it up both on the literal aspect of when you die, don't forget about me,
right?
But also when I kill myself, in a sense, to rebuild this new fabricated,
like a rebranding.
Yeah, but of my whole personality, don't forget about like the original version of me. And I thought it was super deep. Obviously, this is a 5. It's fucking great. It's fucking as good as all the other ones I thought were fucking great.
I give it a 4.5.
I'm really loving this album, as you can tell. I promise it's not all 5s the way through. No offense to anyone coming. But I feel like there is a bit of a tone shift after we get to Regal.
Africa's always dying. No more apples and oranges, only pickles and pacifists. All
right, Chris, how do you feel about this one?
Don't kill me. But I feel like this is I'm kind of like flexing track. Like in terms of I mean, I looked up the word regal because I didn't know what it meant.
It's like related to royalty.
Right. So I feel like she's kind of like talking about like how her life is kind of changing. She's becoming a little bit more like in the game, a little bit more famous, but not in this like cocky way. Just like very, very humbly though.
What if it's about being black? And that regalness is associated to like kings of Africa type royalty thing that if I understand is huge with the 5%ers type thing. Mm-hmm. What if it's that? That's how I kind of took it, right? This is like trying to get in touch with
like
her.
Southside abandoned, like Southside Africa?
Southside Chicago. She's from Chicago.
Right.
So I feel like given where she's from and the harsh environment, she's kind of found the solace of like looking regal, you know? And then you got, oh baby, get to know me. I'm looking like I'm the homie. I'm tatted from head to shoulder. I'm colder when he don't hold me. You know, like, I guess I don't really get too deeply what that is, but you know, she's, I guess, looking a certain stereotypical way or a certain situation. I'm warmer inside the casket basket to tie my hair. Africa's never dead. Africa's always dying. No more apples or oranges, only pickets and pacifists. Twitter rants for martyrdom, unified as capitalists. Give him death be gone, give him Teflon Don, give him rice-a-roni politics to bear more arms and watch the bears come out. Yeah. And to decode that a little bit, you got stuff like the Teflon Don. So John Gotti was like the way he kept getting off on jail and the way the media glorified this gangster, this whole thing. So all through the 90s, this was like a glorified figure of awesomeness, you know, this person.
America loves gangsters.
And give him rice-a-roni politics, to, you know, so this whole fucking NRA bullshit and the racist crap and all their garbage that they do. And meanwhile, you have everyone on Twitter just kind of like ranting about these politics and shit. And meanwhile, it's almost like the cause that of being black or fighting for this shit is like a capitalist ploy based off of how content is created and consumed right now, and it's all kind of polluted and stuff. That's how I took it. I mean, I think she's just kind of finding some pride in the midst of this awful shit and how things are portrayed, and she's a little bit more in touch with her roots or something. So I thought it was really cool. Sonically, it's a little less for me. It's a little more calmer and, you know, slower, and I had a little bit more harder time connecting with this one. So I give it a 4.5. But I recognize that, again, this album is consistently talented, and depending on your taste, this could be like the best project that came out this year.
I gave it a 4. I like when she went, may my roads turn right, may my fist turn to heavens, may the Lord be with me, made me look like Reverend, made me look like Regal, Southside abandoned. I like that type of belief, the way she said it, but I didn't really understand that one verse. Like, it's so poetically done that my knowledge just isn't there.
That's fair. Let us know what you think. Feel free to correct anything we interpreted incorrectly or fill in any blanks. I would really appreciate that. And let's talk about that place I want to go in December, Montego Bay.
My heart is whatever he may say.
So, I don't know that I am really who this song is targeted at, but it's still really, like, sweet, man. Like, Ravyn Lenae has this really cool voice, right? And, like, that hook is, like, just so pretty. Like, I think I really want to go someday. I want to fall in love in Montego Bay. I know my heart is wherever he may stay. I think I really want to go someday. You know, it's like this really sweet little, like, cute, romantic, dreamy kind of like of a wonderful guy and etc. And it's just so sweet. And then, you know, she's like kind of in the first verse describing, you know, how does it feel to be on my mind? I can't believe I found you in time. I'd had a dream across the sea. You know, she meets some guy. And the way she gets so weird in the way she sings the end of this verse. I say weird because it's not something I've heard a lot of.
But there's a certain type of feel I find to it. Like she's
so nice.
The way she ends the verse with kind of stretching and holding on to the notes kind of makes you, like, at least for me, made me real, like, kind of vision that she's reaching out to Montego Bay. Like, she's kind of, like, physically reaching out and trying to, like, get to her happy place and maybe even reaching out for him. And you really get this like, sense of disparity in a way.
It's almost like they went to Montego Bay on vacation and were in a hotel and they, like, found this dreamy, awesome guy and now they're away and they're thinking about him and wanting to go back to meet him. Like, you know, found some island love, as they put it. And yeah, you got the second verse. My little baby want to smoke with me, dreadhead in the party getting close to me. So hold up, slow up, roll up, dance slow, baby smoke, you know. So she's kind of giving, she met some guy and they're getting high together and, you know, dancing and getting all connected. And then he wants to come and treat her like royalty because, like, her hotel room is really nice and relatively speaking, she's like Oprah and she's fancy and he treats her as such and kind of comes in and then.
But I like how she presents that and it's more in that, like, woman empowering sense.
Like she's just proud of sucking that dick in Adidas and, like, she's a boss. Like, she's coming at this from a point where she is doing what she wants because she wants to be doing it and she's proud of what she's doing because she's in this great place and he is almost like a servant, like some guy is worshiping her for whatever, you know. And I love that, like the appreciation, the desire that, like, he has for her and her, like, loving it and she's, like, just relishing in the attention and shit. And I think it's really well done. I mean, for me, it's a 4.75. I can't, like, go into it as deep because of the subject matter. It's not 100% it's not easy for me to describe love songs, but I think as far as they go, this is pretty cute. It's amazing. It's fun. It's warm. Like, it's like the kind of song I would play if a girl came over and I was trying to get her to feel a little certain way, you know?
4.5.
All right, let's move on over to Ace.
Okay, what you say? Fuck is you say? I've been at the Ace Hotel, you gotta tell me.
I learned that UK is text message for you know. I know that. It also means United Kingdom. It's a double entendre. I had no idea. So when he goes hope UK, he's saying hope you know. Like, you know, classic shit. I just didn't know. Anyway, come on. How do you feel about this?
I like this song. I like all the artists on this track. I took this as the flexing track. I took this as
I'll give you that one.
I like how Smino.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Smino. I like him on the chorus. He's got a really great voice, I found. He kind of gives us this breakdown that I feel like when he gets into his verse, he's kind of giving us this breakdown that he's like kind of having this argument with his girl because he's been kind of doing his own thing and maybe chatting some other ladies and she's not really having it.
Wait, where do you get that?
Like in the chorus and in the first verse, I kind of feel like he's kind of breaking down how he's like having this. I thought
it was more like he meets this girl in like the club or whatever, or a strip club, and she's making her ass clappity clap 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 clappity clap 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 clap.
I felt the clappity clap clap were like clapbacks, like he's like she's yelling at him.
Maybe, but I kind of took it like because you gotta look at the line, like she think I'm a liar, like the Obamacare. So I took it like he's met some girl and he's telling her he's staying at this really nice hotel, etc., and she thinks he's a liar and shit, and so he's trying to like floss. Like, I got all these nice things. I got all this going for me, etc. I'm staying here in this nice place. And then she's like, kind of claps back, like, doesn't believe him. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is an argument like that. I don't know.
Could be. I like the vegan line in verse 2.
Saying vegan food is delicious, like, wait and just hear me out.
Well,
yeah, that's the vegan line. Well, I'm just waiting.
Well, because I like labels got these just doing it for clout. I'm just writing my darkest secrets, like, wait and just hear me out, saying vegan food is delicious, like, wait, hear me out. My bad. I butchered that.
No, it's fine. But it's cool, like, because, like, the way that she's trying to, like, put her thoughts and feelings out is comparable to when somebody tries to describe that they actually enjoy vegan food. And as much as those of us who eat meat may accuse vegans of being annoying, the way meat eaters slam vegans down who just try to, like, live is just as equally annoying. And I see both of them doing it. So I get where she's coming from there.
Nice. But I feel like she's also trying to just like there's also flossing, and she's kind of giving us her technique. But I like how she's doing it in a way where she's humbling herself because she wants to. I don't think she's the type of person who wants to, like, be better than everyone else. She just wants to do this for herself. And that's type of vibe I get.
She starts this going, Smino, Regal, Noname, and Saba, the best rappers, and radio that sound like they're wearing adult diapers. Checklist for underground artists taking shots at the mainstream. I have a theory that is like a requirement for people who are not so mainstream. And globalization scary and fucking is fantastic. And frankly, I find it funny that Morgan is still acting. So in a sense, I agree with you. She is flossing her talent and the way she thinks about stuff because she's criticizing the content of other people, and then while describing and flipping it into, like, well, you know, it's really weird. Morgan Freeman's still acting and quoting some of her movies and maybe some stuff she likes. You know, Yummy Biscotti Tamale over mentions my undertones, running the Dolly Chicago overzealous with talent, though West Side Get the Money is still a classic, shouting out, like, this classic album from her hood, showing legitimacy and shit there. And then, like, moving to my LA, now I'm sipping on Sunny Day. Emma is hella pleased and brought me a better pen. So, bitch, she ain't about to write. I'm perpetually smoking weed. Yes, me rolling. I'm sorry, I'm tapping out. Room 25, the best album that's coming out. It's pretty flossy and pretty, like, braggadocious. But again, you're right. It isn't in, like, this standard way. Like, she has this confidence and nonchalance that, like, she could make a verse describing, like, how she's the greatest and make a significant chunk about, you know, fucking Morgan Freeman. And it's still somehow better than, like, what radio rappers are dropping for the lack of substance in their whining and shit. And I agree with her. Right. Anyway.
I felt like Saba followed suit as well, kind of breaking it down that he's living the good life. He's noticing that the prices of the shows are increasing because he seems to be making some noise. You know, he's
I can't recall the last time that my live show was intimate. That's a good line. That means he can't even remember the last time he could get close to the crowd because everyone's fucking packed in bigger places now.
Crazy. I left the song at a 4.5. I really enjoyed the energy through it.
I think I also gave it a 4.5. Let me just double check that shit. Yeah, I gave it a 4.5 as well. Sorry about that awful fucking noise. But I do enjoy it a lot. It is more braggadocious and stuff, but, like, in a way that is their style. Like, these are obviously people who work together and respect and admire each other. And Saba does have that same kind of tone, like, because I know I got the gift like an elf and been rapping raps around them like a belt. That's tea, not ginger beer. A whisper in the ear since I left the road. I got more hits than a deer. $1 and a dream like I'm Jermaine in the Ville. And I wanted to, like, kind of isolate on that because at a certain point I realized a lot of what I like about this is the same kind of stuff I like about, like, 2014 Drive, and just, like, the feel of, like, it kind of could be on, like, J. Cole's imprint. Fuck if it is, I feel stupid, but, like, it kind of has, like, that sense of, like, more conscious, more social awareness, more bringing it. Plus, I got to agree with her. Album Room 25 is turning out to be, like, one of my favorite albums that has come out this year. So when I agree with the rapper's claim that this is the album, that's fucking rare. That never fucking happens. So props to Noname. I don't know. The sound of the beat and stuff, it's not as good to me as some of the others. I wasn't as big into the first verse guy. It was good, but it wasn't really my favorite. But her and Saba, they're fucking great in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. Maybe we should talk about Part of Me.
Forgive me.
I have to focus on the part of me.
Chris, how do you feel about Part of Me?
Which part?
The whole song.
Never mind. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was a bad joke, so I moved on. Okay, keep going.
Sure, fair enough. I enjoyed this track. I like how Noname is being honest that she has to work on herself. There's a sense of growth and maturity here that she's kind of expressing that, she wants to be better. But I feel like the line where it goes, birthdays and funerals only bring out the family, or brings the family out. I feel like she's not really seeing her family right now because she's so busy doing her own thing, that there's a conflicting battle there that she's trying to deal with, and she's trying to figure out how she can cope with and manage both sides of her life. I like when she goes, my notebook, less Jesus, more gospel to it. Let's holler and hoop, and my is stupid. My is shooting your interpretation of the last bar. Well, tell me where you was rooted. Actually, that's not Noname. That's Benjamin Earl.
That's the other verse.
My bad.
I love that fucking line.
But that's like, I like how he questioned the listener listening to the track, and he's like, he's hoping there's a comment or something so he can learn more, and he's like wanting to.
He's saying that I'm going to say a very provocative thing right now in a very particular way, and based on how you react to that line, how you interpret it within yourself, so what you put out will tell me all about the type of person you are. So if you react a certain way, I'm going to know you're a negative person, and if you react a certain way, I'm going to know that you're an enlightened person. And I thought that was super fucking clever. It was one of my favorite lines.
Nice. But I more or less like the song for its point of driving home that you have to work on yourself and that you have to do what you got to do for yourself and keep striving. I really like the amazing poetry in this song, just the way she builds her bars. It's just crazy. I gave the song a 4.5.
Yeah, I think it's really solid. I mean, that chorus is pretty good. I have to focus on the part of me I'm trying to feed. I can't pretend I'm not myself, but if you go, wipe your shoes before you leave. I have to focus on the part of me, etc. So what I took from that is she's growing. She's turning into a different person. She was living life A. She's trying to live life B, or them collectively. And now you're at a crossroads, you, person who is in her life. You can either understand where they're going and come ride the wave, or you can fuck off. And that's how I interpreted that, So when she's like, I kind of got a little confused in her verse, like, riddle me this, Mona Lisa, piece of pepperoni, smiling over phony speakers, getting a fit, off and off the shirts. It's a party at my granny house. Now birthdays and funerals will only bring the family out. I mean, I kind of get the sense that she is describing, like, all of these, like, back in the day, like, this used to be a thing. Now she barely sees people. But I really don't get the first part. If you want to break it down for me, go ahead. Riddle me, no politician, do a dance for me, hot potato, milky rock, devastation, a kitty pop. So maybe here it's like to have that balancing that Chris was describing. It takes like the skills of a politician to break it down and kind of shattering the dreams of that, old stuff. I like when she's like idiot, itty bitty, resentfulness, riddle me, gone, Chicago, go by, Chicago East from Savage, ashes for backstage Savage, ashes to the house in Ashland, Chicago, go Kobe, moved to LA County, but on my old life there, but on my new life there, riddle me, Lord, forgive me. So yeah, like there is that conflict between who she was and who she is now, and I can relate to that. I barely see my family, and I do all this work and stuff, and whether or not I have success, it doesn't change the fact that while you're on this grind, there's a lot of compromise and how you have to make changes. And I can only imagine if I leave Montreal, man, I'll never fucking see anybody, and I'll go build this whole new thing, but then you lose touch of the why. And then I do love that second verse. I fucking think he's just as good, shaking the dust off my heel as I get infected. Weekend trips to my auntie's was an antiseptic. The fat boy anorexic ain't admit, cause my complexion wrist like an Etch-a-Sketch. I'm sculpting the pain in like Leona Lewis. I don't know who that is, but like you just get the sense that he's gone through some shits. Like he had to deal with a whole bunch of crap growing up or whatever. He may have had the eating disorder, and then like he used to, in a sense, back in the day, go to his aunt to like kind of get that little escape. And now that it's older, it's like reflecting kind of like he's moved on, he's grown as a person, and he's kind of questioning where other people are at, you know. Copper put the chopper on, you make the people starlight. Oh, what a drug is fear. Oh, what a love is close. Oh, that crib with the coupe de ville with the overdose. That made jealousy dance on the crowd. I've been everywhere, everywhere let me down. What, you know, worn every had every hat with a crown, not every head bowed, dear God. And I just get the sense like he's also moved on and found some new different things going on in his world, but he's also now cultured and sees that regardless to where you're at, certain things are consistent and certain things are whatever. And, you know, he's trying to find education and enlightenment and all that good shit. It's getting real hot in here. Sorry if it sounds like we're like whatever, but it's fucking hot and we've been in here for a while. Anyway, I gave this one a fucking 5. I really, really fucking like this song. I think it's really cool. Anyway, there's a couple more on this project, so why don't we talk about With You.
Share my life on telephone. I'm 25 and 306 and 809 became my home. Gave you.
All right, Chris, how do you feel about this short little one?
I like it. I like how she goes, this is my ever happy suicide. My hands tied behind my breast, like she kind of has nowhere else to say. She feels trapped. I like when she went, all my halfway hallelujahs are tiptoed in the mail. All the fluctuations on scales, and it's like you're getting this sense that she's kind of confused with what's happening in her life. Her success kind of got her a little bit. She doesn't really know what's happening, but she's trying to figure it all out, is what I got here. I like when she said, somebody hold me like I'm almost enough. Somebody told me pray for heaven, saw how tiny it was. Little love me, we can build this home alone, forever with you, forever with you. And it's like, I feel like she's maybe talking about the game. Okay. She's talking about like the Empire, like the rap game, and she's kind of, you know how like rappers dedicate themselves to the game and they make that track? I feel like this is what it is. I feel like she's kind of giving her love to hip hop and trying to explain like she's having trouble managing both sides of her life and stuff like that. And but she's ready to go on the journey to be with you, as in hip hop, to get to the end and see where it brings her.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, I get that. You kind of get the sense that she feels trapped, like you said at the start of it. And that, you know, maybe the show's over. She's kind of done her silhouettes and pirouettes. So there is a song and dance that she's contributing to. You know, she kind of, who could be my lovely, who could be my only one, my only. I almost just as empty as you think I am. A penny for your thoughts, a wooden hair of happiness, a pretty Ricky Ross. A May Black music. I woke up in a sympathy. That's fucking great, man. I mean, just the fact that like she's kind of comparing herself to like maybe a more ethical, different side of what they're trying to do, you know. And then May Black instead of May Back music is pretty fucking clever. I really enjoy listening to that. Became Black Judas on my everything for sale, on my secondhand discoveries, dungarees faded pale. So I do feel like there's a conflict in the industry where she wants this maybe certain side of purity with her life, but then it's almost impossible to do this without capitalism and maybe embracing in some of the more trendy and pop stuff. I guess I might be wrong about it. I found this one the hardest one to like get into, for real. It's really personal and it's really sweet, but it's super calm and it's super kind of mellow and like it's nice, but it isn't really. I didn't find it so provoking. Letter, so. Yeah, it's kind of like describing this open sense of feeling. It's short. I gave it a 4.25. It's my least favorite one on the album. I mean, it's really nice, but that's how I feel about it. It's just nice. It isn't like substantial. It doesn't hit me quite as hard, but at the same time, on like an objective front, I recognize that it's really good and that this is just my tastes kind of talking here.
Fair. I gave the song a 4.3. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very honest. I thought that she was trying to connect with the listeners in a way where she's being more open, maybe being a little bit more raw.
Okay. And I get that. I don't know, interest and taste, whatever. Noname, almost the artist self-titled track on this album. Like this starts off with like almost a minute and 20 seconds of just this beautiful instrumental, just this really nice start, and it comes in, and because at first I looked at the length and I'm like, man, because a lot of these songs are short and this one's like almost 4 minutes, and I'm like, okay, and you look at the lyrics and there's like not a lot of lyrics for like a 4-minute song, right? So no, it's like a long introduction, but it's a beautiful introduction. It's really easy to get into it.
The production on this album itself has been extremely on next level.
Man, the instrumentation, the bass use, the drums, everybody's fucking great there. And then she just comes in like, no name for people to call small or colonize optimism. No name for intimate registries that they put me in prison. I sowed the answers and then dance them under the thread. Pretend I'm riding in your cities when scared of the feds. And you get the sense that this is her little, like, it is kind of what I was hoping for, a little bit of her mission statement describing who she is and what she represents. So she is, you know, trying to help people find hope and good things in the world, you know. She's for people that are maybe locked up and maybe in bad situations, and she can use her talent to bring something more positive to the world. There's a ghost on my bike, lay with a bullet. He wrote the scriptures for living, all the ways that he couldn't. Give out the prophets for pennies, no taste in mystery pudding. When labels ask me to sign, so my name don't exist, so many names don't exist. That's so fucking interesting. So like, she's kind of out there and, you know, using her like words to kind of create a situation, but then when people are approaching her, they want to put her name there and sign her. She's like, nah, like, you know, there's so many people without her name. There's so many other people. It's like, I can't even do it. Like, to me, it's like so humble. It's so understanding that there are maybe other ways for like purity's sake and whatnot, and that just acknowledging that she wants to be that anonymousness where anybody can kind of like find themselves within what she does, you know. Only worldly possession I have is in life. Only room that I died in was 25, and I really
that introspectiveness and considering like maybe thinking of like room 25 is her age.
Yeah, and well, because also at 25, she like her life changed and she became this new person, this no-name person, you know. And what's an eye for an eye? Don't love you back, and medicine's overtaxed. No name look like you. No name for private conversations to send email to. Because when we walk into heaven, nobody's name's gonna exist. Just boundless movement for joy and nakedness radiates, and it's really sweet. It's like it kind of reminds me, like it really fits with this idea of anybody can be there, and she recognizes how many people there are and how irrelevant almost the label of a name is. So by being no name, by not having that vanity and that ambition within her approach, she's able to really be an effective tool to reach other people and stuff.
It seems like she really wants to help people escape from like dark places. I like that type of
inspire them to reach a better life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Adam Ness is just like, you are the joy and all the pain. Don't forget where you came from. Your song, your truth, your light is proof, and love is still here. And then is like, don't let it pass you by. Your life is your life, baby. Don't let it pass you by. And you get the sense that she wants to inspire some growth in people, and like, she understands this journey she's on, and she kind of wants you to take that same kind of journey with your life. And I thought it was really sweet. I gave it a 4.5. It's really cool. It's a great way to end this project.
I gave it as well a 4.5. I really enjoyed the beginning intro part with the instrumental. It was a nice way to kind of give you a break from all of the heavy lyrics we've been getting, and then just nicely in a very nice, somber way to
I get what you're saying. I love this album. Like, if we're going to wrap up, I think this is one of the best albums I've heard all year. It's one of the best albums we reviewed on this podcast in terms of, in my opinion, being a great sonic experience. Is in all the beats, the instruments, the mixing. Like, there's no skippable songs here. I mean, you might not be into this style of music, and it's entirely possible that from the jump you were predestined to hate this shit. But like, for me, I haven't heard a lot like this, so everything about this is pretty fresh for me. She comes in my opinion, this is the best lady rap I've heard all year. Forget about Queen and Nicki. This chick is like actually dropping this lady is dropping some powerful shit here. Absolutely. It's flowing right. The music is great. I give it a 4.75 on 5. I think it's a powerful representation from a perspective I'm not used to. It's a sound I'm not used to. It's just so strong. It's just so her. It is like, I want to see where this lady is going. I love this album. I love how I felt listening to it. I'm going to go back to it. Like, you know, it really almost puts into perspective how shallow an Eminem versus MGK beef really is, when we could all be talking about some real shit. And yeah, so it gave me that feeling when I was done with it, and I thought it was really awesome.
Shit. I enjoyed the project. I gave it a 4.3. I like everything on this project. I think the only thing that I don't like is just it's not my go-to style. It is sonically different than what I listen to. It is a different vibe, a different sound. But what Noname is doing, what I feel she's doing with like representing the independence, the empowerment, want to like kind of start conversations, bringing up different perspectives and different point of views. Like I'm interested to see what the next project is. I'm interested to see what she does with the platform, how she's gonna grow and see where she can go, because there's a lot to learn from this.
Right.
I find.
Yeah, so let us know what you thought in the comments. That would be super awesome. I'll promise I'll answer them all. Thank you for watching this. It really means the world to us. Thanks to our patrons, Ismail G, Linda Williams, and Super Old School 1994. They support what we do, and if you want, you can join them there for the request raffle. And included in that, you get one free request for an album that we have to do. And then you get access to content early and shit. If not, feel free to hit that subscribe button, which you should maybe just hit that button if you'd like. And then hit that like button. And then leave a comment. And then you'd be my best friend for, like, the day. And that would be really cool. Well, I'm being real with you. But yeah, I really we're trying to build a community that really looks more at hip-hop and lyrics and delving into song meanings and shit like that, albums as a whole. So if you're into that shit, join us and let us know what you want to see us talk about. Thank y'all for watching. Have a blessed day.